Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 9th meeting of the Delhi Township Board of Trustees. As is our usual practice, we will begin the evening with first a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's moment of silence sends prayers of strength and condolences to the family of our Delhi Township police officer, Scott Moore, on the recent loss of his mother, Jane Moore. So if you'll join me now in a moment of silence, followed by the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we start this evening, I just want to make note that Trustee Oswald is not joining us tonight, so the sequence of seconding and so forth will be a little bit different as Trustee Stewart steps into that position, okay? So, motions for consideration, Mr. Luby.
Motion 2016-189, approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting held on October 26, 2016, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2016-189 to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustee meeting of October 26, 2016.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries.
Motion 2016-190, approve bills for payment.
I move motion 2016-190 to approve bills for payment.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries.
Motion 2016-191, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending October 25th, 2016.
I move motion 2016-191 to approve payment of overtime.
I second the motion. All those in favor? Yes. Motion carries.
Motion 2016-192, approve the corrected notice of the addition and scheduling of the Board of Trustees public meeting dates for the 2017 budget meetings on Wednesday, November 16th, 2016, and Thursday, November 17th, 2016, both at 5 p.m. at the Delhi Township Administration Building.
I move motion 2016-192 to approve the corrected notice of the addition and scheduling of the Board of Trustees public meeting dates.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2016-193, approve the seasonal terminations in the Parks and Recreation Department effective November 9th, 2016 of Andrew T. Briner and Chance A. Schneider, both part-time seasonal service worker positions.
I move motion 2016-192-3 to approve the seasonal termination in the Parks and Recreation Department of Andrew T. Briner and Chance A. Schneider.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. All right. Presentations this evening. I have nothing, Mr. Landrum.
That was good to
Pete Pritchard.
Pete.
What's his name? Pete Pritchard? Mr. Pritchard.
Well, not like pumping me up there. Can't you remember my name or anything, huh?
Well, we
Yeah,
could
really.
say firefighter, realtor,
yeah,
chairman
well.
extraordinaire.
Yeah, especially Pete here, my fellow Pete. Can't remember my name. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to give you, I guess, I'm going to call it a final update for the bicentennial. Can't believe but it's November, right? So we're nearing the end of the year, and what a year it is indeed has been. So, we've been busy, as I've mentioned in the past, for about 19 months now with planning and so on, and obviously this year of, with all the events and so on. But anyway, I want to share with the steering committee, our vision from the very beginning has, been to promote awareness of our rich heritage and to encourage citizens, organizations, and business leaders to plan, participate, and sponsor events and activities recognizing the 200 years of our history and our growth as for Delhi Township. And that's exactly what happened this year. Everyone got involved, literally everyone. And, it's, like I said, it's been very, very busy. But just a few highlights I just want to mention here. That's what went on in the past, say, 11 months. We kicked off the celebration, as you well know, at last year's Christmas parade, Saturday, December 5th, so coming up on a year, right? Your board approved and had installed the banners along Delhi Pike there, which do indeed greatly appreciate that as well. The Historical Society conducted numerous genealogy workshops featuring scanning stations to collect family data. They did that throughout the township in different areas. Trustee Sturts, of course, headed up the cookbook committee here for the Bicentennial Cookbook, along with Mary Brigham, Peg Schmidt, and Tricia Johnson. And that's been a success there, I would sure that you would agree. And there's been a lot of work on all of your behalfs with proofreading everything and so on. So we certainly appreciate that. Western Wildlife Hike and History Tour was held on Saturday, April 9th on Bender Mountain. I'm sure some of you would remember that as well. Historical Society hosted a wine tasting. That was in May 20th. June 9th was Delhi Park, or Delhi Day at the Reds game at Great American Ballpark. 2 days later was the first of 3 concert series through the summer, right? So June the 11th, Rodney Allen Combs Band played for us and really put on a good act there. July 14th would be the second of 3 concerts, right, offered by the park and Mr. Torbeck there and his crew. I certainly appreciate them for that as well. It was featuring Excalibur that evening. August 27th was the big one, of course, the Dog Days of Delhi, which had a lot of activities for people and their pets alike. And the Historical Society, of course, had conducted their Frontier Days held at the lodge. The evening, of course, was capped off by the 3rd concert series, presenting Helen Max, which polished off the day. September 10th was the Delhi Antiques Roadshow that the Historical Society again put on. That was featuring Frank Farmer Loomis, and he is the guy from PBS special for the Antiques Roadshow. So he did take a look, I guess, and put value to some products for 40 people. September 25th was the Delhi Pikes Peak. If you guys remember, so they put that on by the Sisters of Charity, featuring guided tours of Mount St. Joe University, the Mother House Complex, and of course Bailey Place. Just a little over a week ago, October 30th, the Delhi Fire Department, of course, had their annual open house, and the Fire Museum celebrated 10 years with many events, of course, occurring throughout the day. I'd like to mention, of course, coming up here, Saturday, December 3rd, right, is the Delhi Christmas Parade. I know there's more stuff to be discussed with that, I'm sure, but obviously being sponsored by the Delhi Business Association. But also that I want to mention is what's going on that evening. So again, the Delhi Historical Society is indeed putting on the Delhi Township Bicentennial Gala, and that starts at 6 p.m. Saturday, December 3rd at the farm. It's going to be a real interesting evening. Master of Ceremonies is Bob Herzog from Local 12 News. Dancing to the Pete Wagner Band, and spirited live and silent auctions. And we really encourage everyone to please attend. I know that we've discussed this with all of you, but we almost ask all of you to spread the word as well. We really want to have a real good turnout, but that's going to be the capstone event to the Bicentennial for this year. So, like I said, it's been a busy year. So it's been a lot of fun. And of course, a lot of work, but you guys know how that goes. And but I'd like to thank a lot of organizations, almost too many to mention here, but that really, like I said, stepped up and really put things together. So and it was a real pleasure, honestly, to pull this together and to work with the people that I did from the steering committee with Peg Schmidt and Mary Brigham. They worked so hard. They really did. Really a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So I really give them a lot of credit. So. But that's all I got to have for you tonight.
Well, Pete, on behalf of this board, we can say a big round of applause and thank you, because you're right. We had an event almost every month for the past year.
Yes, we did.
And the fact that so many organizations participated in this that we really haven't had as a participant in a lot of township activities was just fantastic.
It was. I tell you, the Inquirer really picked up on a lot of stuff towards the end here. I don't know
Yes.
if you guys noticed or not, but they really offered a lot of stuff here to us. A little
But now
surprising.
usually someone's in charge of weather for that Christmas parade, and who might that person be this year?
I think it's going to be Bob Sanker.
You mean along with being Grand Marshal, he
Yes,
gets in
that's-
charge of weather?
That is correct. That's his
Okay,
deal.
well,
So,
congratulations to
yes.
Mr. Sanker
Yeah, Mr.
on being
Sanker.
named the Grand Marshal.
So
So,
that's for sure. But I did want to thank you as well for that. Truly, with the cookbooks, I really never get to say that to you, but a lot of people don't realize that you as a trustee helped with that and really put a lot of time in on that. So I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
My privilege. I do have a question. How can people get tickets to the gala?
It's real easy. They get to the website, which again is the Historical Society, DelhiHistoricalSociety.org. get online, and you can indeed get tickets through that as well. So, but we really, really want that to turn out. Like I said, it's going to be a real fun evening, and we really look forward to seeing everybody there. So,
Are you looking for donations for the silent and the auctions?
we are actually, and there's several things that, again, if you get on our website, you can see some of the things that we are indeed asking for.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay.
So,
Good. Thanks,
can't
Pete.
wait to see
Thanks,
all of you.
Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Landrum, were there any other presentations you wanted this evening? Okay. All right, then, trustees' correspondence. Trustee Sturts.
I want to thank the veterans, Delhi veterans, put on a beautiful presentation for Veterans Day this past Sunday. 62 names were added to the walls, and over 350 people were in attendance, but a really, really lovely job done. Commander Osterfeld, please let the group know. Also, Fire Department, thank you for a beautiful open house. Many were in attendance. I know they ran out of food, they ran out of drinks. The children had a great time. The demonstrations were wonderful. They even had a run during the event, so everybody got to see the Fire Department in action. But Air Care came in, and a lot of people were interested in that. So again, thank you for sharing your event with the bicentennial.
We'd also like to extend a very special thank you to all the residents of Delhi for passing the beautiful park levy yesterday. We are so pleased that you agree with us with the support to the parks to increase their park security, that you enjoy and want to see more activities ranging in age from tot to seniors in our parks, and that you agree that we need to maintain our precious green spaces in Delhi. Special thank you to Josh Torbeck and the Parks Department and all their personnel. Your hard work has been rewarded by the support of your residents passing a park levy. Congratulations and thank you, everyone. We'll have great fun in the parks, so thank you. Okay, so that was the easy part to do. Now I've got kind of a more difficult thing to do. So tonight I want to share with you some news. And maybe this will end rumor and speculation, but as you know, we are a community that things run fast and go quickly when it's can be rumored. Well, it's not a rumor. It is true that Delhi Township is losing our administrator, Mr. Landrum. So 4 years ago, when Pete joined our team in Delhi, we knew that someday this day would come. We knew that we had hired a talented and experienced person in all the areas that were a priority to us. We have also been quite aware that Pete would grow and he would excel and he would be gone, and so that day has come. Being realists, we also recognize that Delhi would not be the place where Mr. Landrum would retire from, but that he would move on to a position of either administrator or city manager of a larger entity and scope. So we are grateful and we are fortunate to have had him for 4 years. Delhi could not promote our administrator. He's at the top of the list. Delhi cannot compete with some of the very rich and quite honestly, the compensation packages offered by larger entities. We just can't compete. Also, we understand the reality of his long commute that he's done for 4 years, going almost an hour to and from Delhi. So it happens. So we congratulate Pete on a new position. We wish him much luck, and of course, we will miss him. There will be a formal press release, probably tomorrow, that will reveal more details about Pete's departure. Delhi will be posting for the open position and accepting applications. We will be utilizing an interim administrator after Pete's departure on December the 2nd. We've been here before, folks. We've done this before, and we'll all be fine. We were so fortunate to find a Pete Landrum, and hopefully the gods and the angels will follow us as we look for a replacement. Our best wishes go to Pete and his family on his new adventure. So until December the 2nd, we are all business as usual. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right. Report from our fiscal officer.
No report.
Oh, okay.
Well, we already said budget hearings.
Wasn't prepared for that.
Budget hearings.
Yes.
but
Budget
next week.
meetings, yes, okay.
Next week.
Any reports from departments, Mr. Landrum?
No,
No.
not tonight.
All right, well, then we'll continue with the reading of the resolutions. Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2016-252, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the township by the township administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading. All those in favor of this motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2016-253, resolution amending appropriations for expenses, authorizing transfers from one appropriation item to another, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. And is there any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Landrum?
Yes, it is that time of year. End up wrapping things up, so we have several changes, budget changes, to get us to the end of the year. The first three items are actually additional budgets, meaning we're adding additional budget because we have insufficient appropriation in these funds. The first one is in the TIF budget. The total is for reimbursement to Oak Hills, and I'll explain this in a second, but reimbursement to Oak Hills, the additional request is $36,903.10. This is, as you are well aware, that the TIF dollars that we receive, we make the school districts whole. We under budgeted the Oak Hills portion of this, not on purpose, but this last settlement that we received from the county, we received about a little $140,000 more than expected, which is the good side of the news. So we got more revenue in, therefore we owe Oak Hills more reimbursement, so to speak, to make them whole. So additional appropriation there. The next line item is in our litter prevention, our recycle fund. We need $2,000 for the rest of the year. We do. This fund is, from the dumpsters and recycle funds that we have. The money from that, and it is, of course, general fund subsidized. But we don't need any more general fund money this year. But we do need additional appropriation to pay for the increased cost of the dumpsters and so forth, the recycling. So that was $2,000, and the last additional is in one of the streetlight districts for $3.18, and that's additional, and that is again to pay fees for the township fiscal officer. So those are the three additionals. The transfers, which is no additional budget, but just as a transfer in between line items, in the police department, we have from the gasoline fund into the prosecution coroner fees of $3,000, and that's due to more drugs have been sent to the lab and than originally projected, so we're analyzing more. Also in the police department, from communication fees to office equipment furniture, equipment purchases, $6,000, and this is to get update the office furniture in the front office area, which we try to do. I think we always plan to do these kinds of things, but we always wait to the end of the year before we execute on buying replacement of some equipment or furniture. We always end up putting it in a budget, but we wait to the end of the year to make sure we have the money to do it in case something would happen. So that's exactly what we're doing. In the fire department, we are moving $6,000 from gas and electric at Station 33 to fire vehicle repairs. That was for the F-204, repairing and replacing all 8 injectors. Software and software support. Now I'm still in fire department, moving money from software and software support into Station 36 repairs, $2,400. And this is part of the Delhi. Actually, it's part of the new project to help us out. $2,400 for the new IT rack. So we found some money there to help us offset TIF dollars to help us purchase the rack that's going in the new Greenwell Fire Station. And last on the list is Parks Department, from summer programs into recreational repairs, $3,500. And people always ask us, why don't we just get a whole bunch of playground equipment and things, playground equipment, because it's always cheap. $3,500, the cost to replace the cracked slide at Delhi Park and replace the glider at Story Woods. It's not cheap. So we found money in that to take care of that for this year, and that's all the budget changes.
Okay.
Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading.
Okay, I second the motion to dispense with the second reading, and I'm asking all those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2016-254, resolution declaring 2 emergency warning sirens no longer needed for public use, finding that the property has no value, authorizing disposal by transfer to Grant County, Kentucky for continued public use, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Chief Campbell.
Thank you, trustees. This kind of came in passing through Green Township Fire Department, their relationship with Grant County EMA, who, if you're not aware, we replaced all the sirens in Hamilton County quite a few years ago. We upgraded them. The new sirens are battery backup. Well, there's still a number of the yellow Hornet style old horns that they're disabled. We don't use them. And just so happens that Mr. Beckmeyer reached out to us. They have 2 on their facilities, so this would take care of the one on Delhi Middle School, Delshire Elementary. But this actually came from an inquiry from Grant County. They wanted the one off the high school. Mr. Beckmeyer said, well, why don't you take my other 2? Because these are 400-pound units. So it costs a contractor a lot of money to bring them down. Well, Grant County EMA can repurpose and reuse these for their operation. They continue to use these for parts, spare parts, and actually use the horns. So they're going to get a use out of it. It's no longer usable to us. This resolution will allow them to remove them from the buildings and then put them back into use in Grant County for their operation.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2016-255, resolution removing certain parcels owned by Western Wildlife Corridor, Inc. from the operation of Resolution 94-33 and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Landrum?
Yeah, just simply that, this is our 1994 TIF. Back then, we used to do residential and commercial as far as putting in a TIF. This now properties that Western Wildlife Corridor Inc. has requested us to remove it from the TIF. It's tax exempt status, I believe, anyway, so we won't be receiving any TIF. And this is not going to be developed or redeveloped land to begin with, so we're removing it from the 1994 TIF.
Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2016-256, resolution authorizing 2017 baseball field application form, the ball field and batting cage permit policy and fee schedule, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Torbeck?
Thank you, trustees. One of the key things to notice is that we will be introducing a fee schedule for the ball fields next year. It's a very small fee. The reason for this is not to make money. It's because we're seeing an overabundance of people reserving fields or scheduling fields and not using them because they are free. So we are dragging, lining, and then no one's showing up for the games. So we're hoping if we attach a fee to it, we'll stop this. Now, for example, a team that has 75% or more Delhi residents would pay $20 for the entire year. So it's a very small fee that we're introducing. It's a problem we had to the point where one weekend we had 6 fields reserved and not one team showed up. So hopefully this will put an end to it.
And you probably had other requests for the use of the field at the same time.
Well, that's the biggest problem. We have so many requests that, we turn people away and then they drive to the park and find the field's empty and then we get a phone call.
All right.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading? Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2016-257, resolution certifying violation abatement expenses at 629 Neeb Road to the county auditor for assessment and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2016-258, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5284 Serenade Drive and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yeah. Well, thankfully, we're only here for one of these instead of a long list of them. But as you can see, looking at the photos, it's popular. The property at 5284 Serenade Drive has got debris. We did receive a complaint. We did go out and inspect. We issued orders against the property. This was inspected again this morning and still not brought into compliance. So we are requesting that you declare it a nuisance. We follow our nuisance abatement procedures.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Mr. Landon, I have no citizens' comments? Okay. All right. Announcement of community events. Mr. Luby.
The Delhi Historical Society program, The Story of Cincinnati's Union Terminal, will be Monday, November 14th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Will be at the Delhi Park Lodge at 5125 Foley Road. The Delhi Christmas Parade, hosted by the Delhi Business Association, will be Saturday, December 3rd at 9:30 a.m. and will be at the Delhi Pike Business District. Delhi Branch Library Open House will be Saturday, December 3rd. Will be from 10 a.m. to noon, and 11 a.m. There'll be a performance by Sound Express Barbershop Quartet. It will be at the Delhi Branch Library at 5095 Foley Road. The Gala at the Farm, hosted by the Delhi Historical Society, will be Saturday, December 3rd. Doors open at 6 p.m., dinner at 6:30 p.m., and dancing will begin at 8 p.m. The Farm is at 2239 Anderson Ferry Road.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Luby. We do have reason for executive session this evening, so if may I have the motion, please, Mr. Luby?
Motion 2016-194 to retire to executive session for preparing for bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment, and to consider the hiring and compensation of public employees.
I move motion 2016-194 to retire to executive session to discuss bargaining sessions and compensations.
I second the motion to retire to executive session. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, that concludes tonight's regular meeting, and I'd like to remind everyone that our next regularly scheduled trustee meeting will be Wednesday, November the 30th at 6 p.m. Also, a reminder that next week we have 2 budget meetings on Wednesday and Thursday here in this room at 5 o'clock. So, thank you, everyone.